Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're grabbing our compass and our map because we're going to navigate the world of data mining, and we're going to try to figure out why so many big data projects get completely lost along the way. So let's start with the big question, the one that puzzles so many organizations. They invest a ton of money in powerful tools, they hire brilliant people, and yet their big data initiatives often just fall flat. So what is going wrong? Well, here's the thing. The answer usually isn't about needing more complex tools or bigger servers. Nope. More often than not, it's about the lack of a map, a really reliable process that guides you from some vague business question to a truly valuable, actionable insight. And today, we're exploring that very map. It's called CRISP-DM. This is a framework that has been turning data projects into successful expeditions for decades. It provides a solid structure that prevents teams from just getting lost and wandering around in the data wilderness. So here's the journey we're about to take. We're going to start by charting the course, then we'll be clearing the path for our analysis. After that, we get to the fun part, making the discovery, and finally, we'll talk about bringing it all home to create some real value. The whole CRISP-DM process is made up of 6 key phases. You've got business and data understanding, then you move into data preparation and modeling, and finally, evaluation and deployment. But, and this is really important, look at those arrows. This is not a one-way street. It is a dynamic cycle where you're constantly looping back as you learn more. You know, every successful expedition has to begin with some careful planning. And in data mining, that means you have to deeply understand your destination, the business goal, and of course, the resources you have to actually get there. Okay, so this first phase, business understanding, is without a doubt the most critical. I mean it. Neglecting this is the #1 reason projects fail. Why? Because you can build the most accurate model in the entire world, but if it solves the wrong business problem, it is completely and utterly worthless. This is really the core task of business understanding right here. It's all about translation. You take a broad goal, something like reduce customer churn, and you translate it into a very specific data mining goal, like predict which customers are likely to leave. Getting that translation just right, that's the heart of this entire first phase. And this isn't just some vague conversation, you know? It involves really specific tasks, like defining what success actually looks like in measurable terms, assessing your resources and risks, and then creating a detailed project plan. This whole process ensures everyone is aligned right from the very beginning. So once you know your goal, you have to understand the terrain you're working with. And phase 2 is all about that initial exploration. You collect the data, you see what you've got, you check for any obvious quality issues, and you just get a first feel for any patterns that might be hiding in there. All right, our course is charted. Now we get into what is often the most labor-intensive part of the entire journey, clearing the path. This is phase 3. Data preparation, and believe me, it is often the most time-consuming step of the whole project. I want you to think of this as the kitchen prep of data science. I mean, the quality of your final dish depends entirely on the quality of your ingredients, right? This phase is all about getting that raw, messy data ready for the main event, the modeling. And this phase is super intensive. It involves everything from selecting the right columns and rows to cleaning up errors and filling in missing values. You might even have to construct entirely new features from existing ones, or integrate data from completely different tables just to create that one final clean data set. So with a clear path and our supplies well prepared, our expedition can finally start searching for the treasure, those valuable insights that are hidden deep within the data. This is where the data scientists get to work their magic. They apply all sorts of algorithms, things like decision trees or neural networks, to the prepared data. They build models that can make predictions or find patterns, and they're constantly tuning the parameters to get the absolute best performance. And this right here highlights that this isn't a straight line. A specific modeling technique might have its own unique data requirements, which means you'll frequently have to loop back to the data preparation phase to reformat or reconstruct your data so it fits the model better. So, after building a model that looks pretty good from a technical perspective, you have to test it rigorously. Does it actually solve the original business problem that we defined way back in phase 1? Does it meet our success criteria? This is the final, crucial quality check before it goes live. You know, finding the treasure isn't the end of the expedition. The real value comes when you bring it back to the village and you actually put it to use. Deployment is all about integrating the model's insights into the organization's real, actual decision-making processes. Now, this could be something as simple as a one-time report, or maybe a dashboard for managers, or it could be as complex as a fully automated system that personalizes a website in real time. This is where the data finally creates real value.
And this brings us to a really crucial point about the CRISP DM map. The journey doesn't just end here. It is not just a path from A to B.
The whole process is a cycle. The knowledge and the results you get from one project will almost always trigger new, more specific business questions. The lessons from your first expedition make you a smarter explorer for the next one, creating this continuous loop of improvement and discovery.
So, by following this map, you're not just completing a single project, you're actually building a sustainable capability for generating ongoing insight. The end of one journey is simply the beginning of the next, more informed one.